Well, first of all, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and Madam President, to Reading, hub of the Thames Valley, and today we are concentrating on young people, which is really good. I'd also like to say a very big thank you to our sponsors, without whom this would not have happened. Our primary sponsor was AEB. We also have BIS-Henderson, Canterbury Christchurch University, Cranfield University, John Lewis Partnership, Oracle, Reading Buses, and we've got three speakers, three very good speakers. So the idea is that they're going to give views of how to get on, basically, in our profession, our broad, multifaceted profession, at the strategic level, at the business and commercial level, and we'll also have a view of how to get on at a personal level. Amongst us as well, we have 10 ambassadors, who Martin's going to introduce in a moment, who are acknowledged experts in their field. Amongst them, they've got hundreds of years of experience, and I urge you to go and speak to them and ask them, how did they get on in this particular sector, in their particular sector? What do you need to get on in whatever it is, you know, transport planning or supply chain or whatever? I'll hand over briefly to Martin.
Okay, thank you, Chris, and good evening, everybody. So I'm Martin Gilbert, and as well as the CEO of our local bus company, Reading Buses, I'm also currently the chair of the Institute's Young Professionals Forum. And the Young Professionals Forum is aimed at those in the age bracket of 35 and under, and it's really about setting out to help and support those either pursuing or developing their career in both the transport and logistics sector, about providing opportunities for professional development, networking, engaging new and existing members, and providing a voice back to the industry as well. So it is a part of the Institute that really helps represent your voice in wider industry. I just want to say that from my own experience as a younger person who's coming to the sort of very end of fitting into the Young Professionals Forum age bracket now, that I certainly wouldn't be doing what I do today if it wasn't for taking advantage of the opportunities like you all have before you this evening. As Chris said, that sort of networking, talking to people, sharing experiences is really important in supporting people's careers and development. So do please take advantage of the people that we have here this evening.
And first of all, I'd like to introduce Paul Brooks.
Thanks, Chris, and good evening, everybody. Privileged to be here. What Andy and I decided to do, obviously we're here to network, so I'm going to talk to you about my role as International President of the Institute and the role that young people play in providing a leadership function, a leadership role in that, and give you some ideas and some thoughts about how the Institute can support you globally in your career. So our vision as an institute globally is to be recognised as the first choice professional body for supply chain logistics and transport. You knew that, I included that as a pack. In terms of our mission, I'd just like to focus just for a few minutes on our educational pathways. This is about sort of development opportunities for everybody. Clearly it's a focus for our young people and the teams that you're involved with. However, as we all know, we never stop learning, and we should never cease to search for the opportunities to progress within our profession. The one thing that we do have as being part of the Institute is a common approach, commitment and the sharing of knowledge. And that's something that you as owners of the Institute and its activity should take and run with. Our job centrally is to make sure everything is accessible and globally available for you to share and to acknowledge how best we can deliver the future of our Institute and the future of each of our sectors and professions. But our brand values, we've got to connect with people, and as you'll see from the new website activity and the new, we mentioned about sort of social media, clearly as being stronger together, we've got to connect on a dynamic basis. So how we utilise that, how we utilise social media in our supply chains, in our sort of passenger communications. We're trying to stay ahead of all nodes and all activities as part of what we do within the Institute on our web development. I particularly like this one because it feels like the student's got his feet up studying something about Kuna University and the logistics project. So it's that sort of image now. Actually the suited and booted way of a historic chartered member or a charitable status is now evolving into a much more dynamic engagement with every member at every level. And I think in terms of focusing on your own career, that you know, don't be afraid to drive that even faster. So what does this mean for our YPs in my last couple of minutes? Clearly, as growth is critical to our long-term success, our future, we're all focused on the future and what we can bring. So every member country has a growth agenda, and every member country has an agenda of growth within our young people, our young professionals. Where is the Institute positioned in terms of getting new people into the business sectors we do business in, and how can you help, and how can you connect with the rest of the world, and especially in terms of creating opportunities for women in logistics and transport. In the UK, 27% to 28%, depending which stat you read from the National Audit Office, of women are involved in logistics and transport. Okay, we're as low as that, but it's growing quite rapidly. So I think what we need to do is to say, okay, well, you know, we're underpinned, 51% of the population, last time I checked, were women. So where's that talent going, and which other industries are picking that up? So we need to do something active and proactive, and the women in logistics movement across the world is actually making quite a big difference to us in that area. My last slide, what can I do in my career, really? This is about what can the Institute do, what should I do? Tonight's a great example. Do look for mentors and coaches that fit with your profile. Think about that carefully. I have never approached somebody after thinking that through and they've said no, so ask them. Yeah, so once you've thought about what you need and what support you require, ask somebody to help. Attend best practice events. I would always feed back to my colleagues after attending an event such as this. You know, you're known as a bit of a pain. I can appreciate that. But I'm certainly known as a bit of a pain. But you know, if you advise your colleagues of what's gone on that evening, then they'll keep coming back to you. So help with ideas, and ideas will come back to yourself as well. And do that with social media. Hashtags work. I'm a big LinkedIn user. I tweet prolifically. Profiling works, but don't get in the way of actually innovation is better. Great ideas always win. So if you're known for somebody coming up with great ideas, people will keep coming back to you. And that's the idea. In a personal brand, people have got to keep coming back to you. Qualifications, never forget that actually qualifications are valuable both visibly and invisibly for yourself and for your teams. You're getting to the point now that you should be driving teams. This learning never stops. So go hunt for ideas, hunt for innovation, hunt for quality and qualifications. But I'll finish on the success always talks. So, you know, focus on your career, what's going to make you successful, and then drive and ambition will get you far.
Hello everybody. For those that don't know, I'm Andy Kaye. I'm the Chief Executive of a business called BIS-Henderson. For those that don't know who BIS-Henderson is, what we effectively do is we are one of the market-leading recruitment consultancies in this particular sector. I've got a team of about 40 people who are engaged in recruitment solutions up and down the industry, recruiting folks from managing director all the way down to operations manager level, shift manager level, team leader level, and so on. As you are probably aware, this industry is devoid of young talent. Without a shadow of a doubt, with the scale of the industry that we are now, with the global reach that we have, with the number of organisations that are engaged in the industry, unfortunately we are just not bringing enough bright young talent into this sector. I decided that we needed to get together as an industry and do something about it. And effectively what we did was we conceived a thing called the NOVUS Trust. It was myself and a number of other fairly senior individuals in the sector who got together and created the NOVUS Trust. And that's what I'm going to speak to you a little bit about today, because what I want you to take away from this is actually I could be an ambassador for the NOVUS Trust. I want you to say tomorrow, I went to this presentation the other day, this chap got up, talked about this thing called the NOVUS Trust. I think it's a great idea, and I think I want to go into my local school or college and talk about it. Because frankly, that's the only way we're going to get young people thinking and considering logistics and supply chain as a potential career. The aim of the scheme, was to read on the screen, increase the quantity and the quality of graduates that are entering our industry, to really bridge the skills gap that we've got. And by the skills gap, the issue that we have in this industry, and everybody will be aware of it, is we do describe ourselves as a bit of a trucks and sheds sector. Okay? They're the worst possible words we could use to explain and describe the sector, given how technically advanced it now is, and the fact that the use of technology is so broadly accepted in this industry.
The fact is, you take organisations like Amazon and ASOS, who are two of the fastest growing retailers in the world bar none, what they effectively are is a technologically driven marketing front end with a very highly sophisticated logistics and supply chain infrastructure behind them, all driven by technology. Now, hey presto, yeah, it's not transport managers and warehouse managers that are managing Amazon, it's technical specialists, buyers, procurement specialists, global sources that are running and developing companies like Amazon and others. And it's those kind of skill sets that we desperately need into this industry. And hey, guess what? You know, the talent is out there. The fact is, we are not engaging with that talent in the right way. So that was the first objective. The other one was to increase the profile. Young people don't really see logistics and supply chain as providing them with a career. It might provide them with a career, a job in a warehouse, or possibly a job driving a vehicle, but is it going to be a career for life, and can I develop within it? We also wanted to create a centre of excellence, something that was going to say, look, let's embody what the logistics and supply chain sector can offer to young people coming into it. And obviously also the opportunity therefore is to generate an alumni of its own in terms of the sector and young people coming in. What we've done is we've taken a degree course that is managed by the University of Huddersfield, and we've got effectively two degree courses. One is a BSc in Logistics with Supply Chain Management. It's a 4-year course. And the other one is a BA Honours in Business with Supply Chain Management. However, we took that course and we collaborated currently with 30 companies. These companies, and I'll show you in a second, are very large blue chip organisations. Sainsbury's, Network Rail, DHL, ASOS, Travis Perkins, Marks and Spencer's, Wincanton, Muller Dairies, and I can go on and on and on, okay? What those organisations are doing is they are paying an annual fee of £5,000 to the central body that manages the scheme, but they're providing mentors. For each of the students on the scheme there is a mentor, a professional mentor. Now, by that I mean we have the supply chain director of ASOS, Mark Holland, who's a mentor for one of the students. We have the supply chain director of Travis Perkins, Robin Proctor, as one of the mentors. We have the logistics director of Sainsbury's as one of the mentors. So the point is that by having a mentor with a very senior individual in the industry, then you are therefore getting the best you possibly can from a professional development piece, yeah, from the scheme itself. What the student also gets is an 8 to 10 week summer work placement in their first year as part of their summer break. That's a paid work placement. In the third year, they get an industrial placement, which is paid for a 12-month period. Obviously, there's the opportunity to do case studies, there's the opportunity to do project work, there's the opportunity to do site visits and get guest lectures and so on, yeah? But the USP of the scheme is that at the end of the degree, if you're a student on the scheme, you get a 2-1 or better, then you are guaranteed a graduate job with one of those sponsoring companies. Now, the fact is, we felt that we had to offer that unique proposition. Do you know what? Those companies there, all the foods, I didn't mention Premier Foods, Hermes for you, Halford, some big blue chip names there. It was not difficult to sign these people up. They understood and still understand and continue to understand how difficult it is to get talent into this sector. And I'm not just talking at that point at a graduate level. I'm also talking at apprenticeship level, school leaver level, and across the board. But what our ambition is that really we want this scheme being operated at 3 universities. We will have 2 by September 2017. We want an intake of 500 students a year. We want it sponsored by 200 companies. Now that's a game changer. Where we are today is not a game changer, but at those kind of levels it is a game changer. This industry is more than capable of taking 2,000 to 2,500 students a year without flinching. And you know what? There are the opportunities out there for people. What we need is we need UCAS applications to be completely aware of what NOVUS is about and what it stands for. What we've realised is that what we've got to do is we can't afford to just send out mail shots to students. We can't afford to just send out faceless literature in the post. We can't afford to be all over social media because, you know what, young people are bombarded with stuff on social media. What you've got to do is you've got to talk to people. and you have to put in the legwork of talking to people. And I spend an inordinate amount of time going around schools and colleges talking to young people about this industry. And do you know what? As young people in this industry, I'd like you to think about how you might be able to help us do exactly that by getting out and talking to people.